Hello, everybody, and welcome to the GDP. And no, that does not stand for Gross Domestic Product. But we're here to talk about Dunkirk, this little film that came out last week. And, it was good, or it was great, or it was amazing, or it was a masterpiece. I mean, I guess. We don't know. We'll just have to see what I say about it later in the video. Of course, I knew going into this that Christopher Nolan was going to put some twist into his war film. I knew seeing the trailers, it showed just some clips and it looked like a war film. It looked like a lot of war films that have come in the past, and they're usually quite similar, I guess, compared to what he just did with Dunkirk, because he totally went another direction. It was different as a film in general from other films. It wasn't just different from other war films, it was different from other movies and films. And the way he uses sound is phenomenal. In the beginning there's so little dialogue, and slowly the dialogue will increase as the characters progress. But in the beginning there was some scenes in the beginning that were just amazing with how sound was used. And of course, I saw it in IMAX, which probably makes the sound better, I guess. I don't know. But I still think either way, it would still be amazing. It's still amazing the way he did it either way. Another thing was characters. And since the timeline was all jumbled up and you were following different characters throughout different times in the timeline, I guess, and then it all ends at the same time, so you get more screen time with certain characters and less screen time with other characters in order for it to end at the exact same time, because the characters and their stories start at different times. Start at different times in the timeline, but start at the same time in the movie. It's so hard to explain, I guess, but I hope you've already seen it because it's been out for a week already. So you get it and you understand. But of course he's done jumbled up timelines with Memento, I guess. Kind of Interstellar. That was more time travel, I guess. Or I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint it down, but he's kind of in that area, and so I'm partly not surprised that he did this with Dunkirk. But it's so hard to do something like this. It's already hard enough to make a good movie, but to make it so different from other movies, it's awesome. And he deserves some props for doing as good as he's doing with making movies so different. And so bad characters, the main character, it starts off with, you see a bunch of characters, most of the characters die, and then you're left off with this one dude that you're following, I guess. But since the timeline is jumbled up, it cuts through different scenes in different parts of time where you're with different characters that are doing different things. And by the end, they technically all affect each other. And, well, they don't technically all meet because the plain dude, but they all help each other and affect each other by the end. And so it makes sense, I guess, but some characters had more dialogue than other characters, but it's so hard to say that there's a main character. Of course, the main character is the dude that you meet from the beginning and you kind of follow along, but still, he isn't a huge main character, though. The main character isn't so main, I guess you could say. It's awesome. You get all the character development, all the context, all the things that you need to make the movie go along and keep you interested in the characters, but it's so different, and I don't know how he does it, how Nolan does it, makes it so different, and still so good. And so that's one other thing I noticed and loved about Dunkirk. And I know the confusing timeline, there was one scene that I didn't quite love as much as the rest of the film, which was the boat scene. The boat scene, that sounded stupid. When the whole movie's a boat scene. When the guys were on the beach and they found this stranded boat and they were in it and they were getting shot at, I guess. That was the only part that felt a little bit out of place. Kind of not exactly Like, okay, but I mean, that's what you're gonna get. I mean, with a jumbled up timeline, there's gonna be at least a scene out of place. I guess. And it wasn't even that bad. It was just, like, it wasn't as good as the rest of the scenes of the entire movie, I guess. That's the only one little thing that I had, but it was so small that it doesn't really matter, I guess. It's really, the whole movie is just really well done, which, I mean, you can't expect it to not be well done from Nolan, I guess. It's Nolan, all his movies are just awesome. So, of course, this one was going to be good. I was going to be good. I wasn't expecting it to be less than good, and it was great. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that you didn't see any of the villains, right? I mean, the enemy that was kind of surrounding them on Dunkirk and forcing them to either go to sea, to leave, to escape, to not die, you didn't see them. Like, there were just gunshots. You didn't see, which was so different, once again, so different from an average war film where you see the enemy and you see the enemy getting killed or something like that. I don't know. That's just what made it, this is just another thing that made it so different. You didn't even see them. Like, think about it. I didn't even really notice it until after the theater, and I was with the people that I saw it with, and we were talking about it, and we were thinking about it, and realized there wasn't any scenes where the enemy, we actually saw them. We just saw their bullets or the sound of them shooting a gun, I guess. So yeah. Anyways, that's all my thoughts about Dunkirk. Well, so far. I know there's a podcast episode that came out on iTunes and Stitcher with Bob and a guest talking about Valerian. So if you are interested in Valerian, want to see that or hear that, go listen to that podcast. Also, we're probably going to be talking about Dunkirk in next week's podcast. So if you want to hear more about me and Bob's thoughts, you can listen to that, hopefully coming next week. All right, tell me your thoughts about everything in the comments, and I hope that you have a great day or night or week or month or even year, okay? Or even year. Goodbye.